let's talk about quantizing because it's the question of the day. Should you quantize? What's quantizing? And how do I really feel about quantizing? And do I quantize?
Turn me up, I'm lit, turn me up.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord.
What's up, fam? It's your girl Sarah, back with another quick video. Today, I really wanted to do a really quick video about quantizing. Yes.
I know.
Should you quantize? Should you not quantize? Don't you dare! Question of the day. First of all, shout out to you guys for supporting my brand No Quantize. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. If you haven't and it's your first time viewing, I have a brand called No Quantize. Go ahead and check it out at noquantize.com. Shout out to everyone that's been super supportive for my brand, that's been copying the gear, has been sending me pictures, been super supportive. Thank you so much. You know, ever since I started this brand, I've gotten some really interesting comments from random people that I guess they don't understand where I get the concept from. So I really want to kind of discuss what quantizing is, why I named my brand No Quantize, my opinion behind it, and just how I feel. Because there's a lot of people that ask me questions about should they quantize, or some people actually kind of come aggressive and say, well,
What do you mean you don't quantize? Try making a house beat.
and I'm just like, bruh, like I make all types of music, so let's talk about quantizing because it's the question of the day. Should you quantize? What's quantizing? And how do I really feel about quantizing? And do I quantize? Where should I start? Let's start with what is quantizing. My definition of quantizing is when you're making a beat or a song, the software that you're using, if you have quantization on, it automatically corrects your beat. The software automatically corrects where you input your notes or your songs or your sounds. So for an example, if I'm going, Quantize will automatically put it right on beat. But let's say if I'm, sometimes if you hit quantize, it'll jack that whole beat up. It'll sound really stiff. It won't sound humanized. And I think what I really like about not quantizing, that it really does give software a humanized feel because you are using a computer to create music. Originally, when you create a music, you would actually have your own rhythm, you have an instrument, and you would actually just record. So for an example, a real drummer, he doesn't have someone correcting him when he is playing the drums. He has a natural flow, a natural rhythm, and if he's off a little bit, it actually sounds really good. And that's the part that I like about not quantizing, so I try not to quantize my beats. Now, is that actually true 100% of the time? No! Sometimes I do quantize my beats. It depends on what's going on. I could be making a house beat, right? Like someone had commented before, try making a house beat. House beats, they are pretty straightforward. Like that's kind of the essence of a house beat. It kind of just is, it is on point. But I make boom bap, hip hop, lo-fi beats. So if the beat was actually really stiff and perfect, it doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound like, it sounds like a computer, and I don't like that. There's three individuals that I highly look up to that kind of made me feel this way. One being DiBiase. There was an interview he did with Red Bull. He said this.
I don't quantize. It's like, to me, that's like having training wheels on your beat. A natural drummer doesn't use quantization, so on a drum machine, you shouldn't have to use it. Trust your natural instinct to have that natural swing.
So yeah, just like I said before, yeah. The second person that I highly look up to that makes me feel comfortable about my decision about not quantizing my beats most of the time is J Dilla. So like I said, I make boom bap, lo-fi hip hop beats, right? Anytime that I'm stuck or when I'm making a beat, I filter my beats by asking myself, what would J Dilla do? Do you think he quantizes his beats? No, not at all. He doesn't. That's another huge reason. Listen to J Dilla's beats. They're not quantized. They're amazing. The kicks, Everything is just so random. I love it. It's great. The third person that has actually influenced my decision on creating my brand is Ninth Wonder. So basically, I was listening to his Zion 2 beat tape earlier this year, and I was washing dishes. I was listening to it, and in my head, when I was listening to the beat, I said to myself, I really like how there's no quantize on his beats. And then boom. I was like, I don't know if this is a brand or an idea or something. Like, I looked it up, and there's no LLC out there in North Carolina called No Quantize. Now it is. So basically, he was a huge inspiration and why I even created my brand, because of course I love that some of my favorite beat makers don't have any quantize, and when it ran through my head when I was listening through his beat tape, it really sparked the idea of creating my brand. Shout outs to DiBiase, Ninth Wonder, and J Dilla for inspiring me. You guys are purely the reasons why I don't quantize my beats. And another reason, another story. I started making beats I've been consistent probably for 3 years, and I probably started like buying beat equipment and a computer like back in like maybe 5 years ago, right? So when I would mess around with making beats and like randomly just making stuff around, I did not know what quantize meant. I did not know that was a feature. I was already making beats with no quantize on there. And I remember recently someone told me what quantize is. I was like, oh snap, there's a feature on the software that corrects your beats. Bruh. So for the longest time after that, maybe for a year and a half, I would actually quantize my beats, because that's when I learned about it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cool. It makes your beats sound automatically kind of just, it's good for beginners. We'll talk about that in a second. But I didn't actually use quantize for the longest time until someone showed me recently, maybe within the past couple of years, and I was using it for almost a year and a half, and then I started getting into boom bap, lo-fi beats, and that's when I started discovering, you know, J Dilla, Ninth Wonder, and DiBiase, and then talking about not having quantize on. And then at first I was kind of scared. I was like, I really like quantize. And then one day I took everything off. I took all the quantize features off. It just sounded a lot better when I recorded my music. And if there's something that does sound weird, I'll just either re-record it, because I have to have my own rhythm, and that's what I like about my beats, even if it sounds a little off. And if something really does bother me, I maybe will quantize. I may adjust it, but for the most part, I'll either re-record it, I'll go inside and actually adjust it with the pencil, or I'll actually, sometimes I will quantize. So don't get upset because you do use quantize, but you should understand that for the most part, I do not use quantize because of those influences that I talked about. Now, is quantizing bad? No, not at all. It's really great for beginners. I like to use the analogy that quantizing is like training wheels on your bicycle. It's totally fine to have training wheels, especially when you're starting riding bikes. But if you're a grown-ass man that's been riding a bike for 30 years and has training wheels, you look silly. And that's how I feel about quantization. So if you've been making beats for more than 2 years, probably shouldn't have quantize on your beats. You should try to actually learn how to have your own rhythm and be able to make beats without a support system. It's also like being a professional bowler. Just imagine if a professional bowler went up to the bowling lanes and had bumpers. Bruh. Of course you're gonna get strikes, honey, because you have bumpers supporting your game. It's the same thing with quantization. Your song is gonna sound great when you have quantize on. So why don't you challenge yourself and actually take it off? You're not a professional if you have bumpers on your lanes. You're not a professional bowler. You're not a professional beat maker if you have quantize on, to me in my eyes, straight up. I think for the most part, it's whatever you want to do. I just prefer to have a natural rhythm to my beats. I prefer to listen to songs that have a natural rhythm to the beat. And like I said, I kind of just filter my thoughts through what would J Dilla do. Comment below, let me know if you guys quantize or not. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to most of everyone's question.